Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Pelican, built tough for all situations. Go to pelican.com. Yak Gadget, for all your fine kayak fishing accessory needs. Go to yakgadget.com. Eastport Marina, on the beautiful shores of Dale Hollow Lake, for all your lodging, kayaking, and fishing needs. Go to eastport.info. Now let's get this show started.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Reel Down. Bet y'all didn't expect to see or hear me. I've been gone for a little while. Taking a little creative break. Ease the mind, come back better. That's completely not why I did that. But yeah, shout out my buddy Dan for hopping back on and taking over for me. But him and his family are at Disney, and I hope they're having a fun. I hope the family's having a fun time, and I hope Dan's not about ready to kill someone, because I know Dan, and I don't know if he's ready for that kind of environment. But yeah, thought I'd come back for a week, maybe back for good. Who knows? Just wanted to do a little fun show with a couple of the hosts. Had some plans with some other guests. They had to back out, had other things going on. But we will, hopefully next week, we'll have a full BASSMaster Kayak Division Championship coverage show. Get some of the winners and the top finishers from that on. To just, talk about how it went. No, I want to hear from them to see if they thought it was better as far as, really the big thing's the weigh-in. I feel like the tournament was whatever, but, was it taken more seriously? I mean, we watched it, but I want to know what the atmosphere was like there. So, but we'll get into that next week. I decided to get a couple folks come on. Y'all all know these guys. We got Mr. Brad Hurlebaus, Dustin. What's up, dudes? How y'all doing?
What's going on?
Figured we'd jump on and talk about what y'all got going on. I know Brad's setting up a new boat, getting ready for tournament season. Whether he actually fishes or not, still arguable.
I took all last year off, man. I did a little bit of fun fishing, but that was even slim to none. Basically, all last year I hung out on sandbars and drank beer underneath umbrellas.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
It was a good summer. Not gonna lie.
I had a bunch of rage quit tournaments where it kind of went that way. There was drinking involved. There were no umbrellas and sandbars, but there was just like leave bar. But what about you, Doodoo? What you been up to, man?
A shutdown, turnaround, outage, whatever you want to call it in the plant workers world.
Yeah,
lots of days of work and very few days off. But the day off I did have, I got to fish a little local tournament, little club tournament. Pretty good time.
Yeah, I was.
Just got on the water.
We're gonna get into it a little bit too, but I was telling my wife when we were going over the Tourney X stuff, I was like, I guarantee you, Doodoo hasn't had any time on the water in God knows when, and he showed up and he's still top 5. Why can't I do that? Like, I prepare and suck. Like, that's worse.
Lucky.
Nah, you're just good. Our man over here, he's
saltwater better though.
I mean, I could completely understand. I haven't done it yet, but just the little stuff I've caught in the surf that has so much pull and weight to it, and you're like, God, this doesn't even compare. And do it in a kayak, man. I bet that's just ridiculous.
That close to the action, and just, I mean, there's times when the redfish are swimming right by me, and I'm like bunched up against the marsh grass, kind of pushed up against it, waiting on the school to come to me, and they just come right in front of me, and you just like underhand pitch out in front of me. And then sometimes I'll have one hooked and then I'll grab another rod and have 2 of them, throw one in the rod holder, reel one in. Oh yeah, done that many a times. Pretty cool.
I'm telling you, I need to stop all these damn tournament trips I take around the country. I just need to take a week off and go over to Texas and hang out.
Come over here in October. We will have some fun. For sure.
Just have to work it around you actually having some off time.
Yep, working on my long change, and I'll be off for a week, and we'll get the water every dang day.
I love it. Well, for all of our listeners that, maybe they don't, maybe they have their favorite show, they just listen to The Reel Down. They don't really dabble in the rest of the 400 shows Paddle and Fin has to offer.
No doubt.
Dustin, you start. Tell us who you are, a little bit of a background on yourself, and what your role is here with Paddle and Fin.
All right. Yeah, it's been a while since I've been on the other side of the mic like this. You know, put me on the spot. Nah, it's all good. Dustin Nichols here. I live in Victoria, Texas. I'm originally from Southeast Georgia. Grew up in the low country over there. Started fishing from a young age. Riding my bike to neighborhood ponds, farm ponds, sneaking on the golf courses, ripping lips in there, And then we had a decent coastal fishery there too. So I fished with my dad, my grandpa, my uncles, and just caught the bug early, served some time in the Marine Corps, kind of got away from that. Always been a very competitive person, skateboard, surfing, all that. So, I guess like most of us that are like infatuated with fishing, we all grew up watching like Roland Martin and Jimmy Houston and Bill Dance and all them. And then, I was like, man, I always wanted to be a Bassmaster, fish the Bassmaster or something. I was like, it never happened in a boat. I fished in tournaments when I was younger, but, hey, it's a pretty good run going on in the kayak right now. I mean, I'd like to make a few more national trails, but, I enjoy it a ton, especially being this close to saltwater. And then I got some great lakes all within four hours, like awesome area.
If you ever did like have the time or the stars aligned and schedules worked and you made a run, like to follow a Bassmaster or Hobie, one of those, I would definitely jump into the fantasy game and put some money in on that. Cause I'm telling you, like, I'm not just trying to like blow your head up. I've got to fish with this guy one time and watch how fast he can figure out what's going on and how fast to get on them. And, just seeing your footage and, keeping up with you over the few years I've been, doing this with you guys now, I'd put a heavy dollar on you to show up at some tournaments, man.
I appreciate that. If I can go finish one without having a kidney stone in the middle of
Oh God.
Oh,
you didn't have that happen, no problems again this weekend, did you?
No, not this weekend. No, just lost a few key fish, man. But we'll get to that in a little while.
I hear you. Well, Brad, you still there?
I'm cutting in and out. My wife.
Well, Brad, you know how it works. Try going out, coming back in, and cutting your video.
Be back. I'm gonna log out. I'm gonna come back.
Gotcha.
There you go.
Well, that kind of goes with how his fishing is. There's not much of it, so.
I know, right? Yeah.
Oh man,
he hunts all the time in the
oh no, yeah.
Though.
I don't.
That's fun too, especially
man.
That taking off duck hunting out of a kayak is huge down here.
Oh man, duck hunting and like he does upland bird and everything. Yeah. He's got a great dog. Like I'm definitely jealous 100% of what he's getting to do out of a kayak. I would love to have the opportunity. I would love to be able to put the effort in like he does, because that man works for what he's doing. And I know like Brian and the other guys have hunted with him and stuff, and I'm pretty sure they've had success every time they go. So he's good at it and good at putting you on it. But we'll let him talk on that when he comes back in. So I guess what we'll start with before we get into your tournament, we'll because everybody has been paying attention around the kayak community to the BASSMaster Kayak Division Championship that they just had on Lake Russell in South Carolina, and we'll just talk about that a little bit. Since I know me and you both kind of kept up with it, I did as much as I could. But I had a really close friend fishing it, so kind of had the inside scoop on how it was going. He actually was staying with Siddiqui, who did end up winning the tournament, and was fishing the same creek with him at one point. So a lot of good intel I got out of that. But what did you think about it? Did it seemed like a pretty good tournament, right choice of lake, time of year, stuff like that? What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought it was set up pretty well. Seems like I've heard a lot of people were fishing docks a lot, and that spinnerbait bite here and there this time of year.
Yeah, I
never really looked at that lake on a map until I heard about the tournament, and then I started looking at all the man. There's so many creek arms and
I should have pulled a picture up before this.
Yeah,
that is one of the most like it almost stresses me out to look at a map, because before the tournament, me and him were looking, and he was like, you help me put up a game plan. And I was looking at it, and I was like, there's 7 million points.
Yes.
Like, everything looks like a potential spawning flat or spawning area, secondary areas, staging areas. Like, I was like, bro, I don't know what to tell you. Like, good luck. That's what I can tell you. And, I mean, I can't remember how many square miles it was. It's like, 700 miles or something like that of.
Yeah, it's ungodly amount. It's crazy.
It's
But
huge,
there's
man.
tons of marinas and boat ramps.
Yeah, very,
There's plenty
very,
access, plenty of access for a lot of the lake.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I wasn't too when they first picked it. I understand why they do what they do. They pick the one lake for the classic and a separate lake for our championship. I know a lot of people had a bunch to say about it. I didn't think it was going to go good, but then you turn around and I think it was day one of the tournament. Casey Reed smoked a 24 3/4 donkey, and there were a bunch of good fish caught at that tournament. Like that lake, in my opinion, you did have a bunch of people struggle on day two. Some of the big names that everybody had their money on, didn't limit out. Caught 2 fish, but I think it was done pretty well. But like I was saying before we all hopped on together, I really want to, hopefully next week we'll get some of those guys on. I want to know, what they thought about how the weigh-in was taken. If it was more, I know there was a video by a Mr. Hoover that came out talking about the amount of people that were there. There were 90 people show up for it. Say what you want about it. Gas has gotten high, and it's just, for a lot of people, that's a long swing to get from one, because I mean that's east in the country, so a big commitment for a lot of people. And then the way I look at it too, if you talk about like elite level and all that crap with kayak anglers, you get 200 at the Hobie events, but how many of those are actually serious enough that they follow one tournament to the other, trying to get that AOI, try to get that championship? I feel like 90 is a pretty good number to show up and throw your hand in for one of the biggest events in kayak fishing, and a chance to walk across the stage and hoist a badass trophy. But Brad, did you keep up with it much? Did you get to see any of it?
I watched a little bit here and there. I caught a couple posts and saw some running numbers and things like that. I didn't see as much. Now, I didn't focus on trying to find any coverage. I'm curious to know how much coverage there was, though. Like, did Bass do any coverage of it actually? Or did they focus on the big boats?
Well, I don't think there was much coverage. There may have been a media boat, because to my knowledge, at most of the Bass events I've been to, whether it's a Bass employee or what, there has been a boat running around, like taking pictures and stuff.
Sure.
Because they usually have tons of photos they put on the website afterwards. But I don't know if they had any like real deal coverage on it yet. I don't know if they're putting their money in that for us, because the boat tournament didn't start until ours ended.
Right.
So that way there was no overlap. I mean, it's different lakes, but no overlapping of time. But did you watch any of the weigh-in of the stage ceremony?
I did not.
There was a bunch of folks went down, like Ryan Lambert, I think Todd Patrick, a bunch of folks went down there and were live streaming it, I think from their phones and stuff like that. So we did get to see it, and there were people in there, which is a huge change from last year. I know there was a lot of problems with people being allowed in to the stage area to watch, but from what I could tell, I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I thought it seemed like they were a little more enthused in the speaking aspect of it. I know that was a big thing a couple of years ago, is it just seemed like nobody cared. Small argument of that would be they don't really know what we're about or how we did anything. Right. Now they're starting to kind of see how it is. But what did you think, Dudu? I know you got to check a little bit of it out.
Yeah, I watched a little bit and watched some live streams kind of here and there when, getting off work, watching the weigh-in and stuff. But yeah, I thought they handled it a little better this year than last year's. There's definitely some issues with the MC last year, not really knowing what's going on. You think you're going to go into something like that, you think you do a little more research, I guess. I don't. Well, one of those things.
I'm not one to try to cover for them or nothing like that, because I do a little bit of work for them here in the state, but there's a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah.
But at the same time, just like my state, it's funny because Bass is based here, and this has been the hardest state to get the whole Bass thing going for kayak wise, because the people don't want the change, and then Bass just does not want, what they said, don't make us look bad.
Yeah, and then we had a tournament pop up last year for the Texas, the Bass State Championship or whatever, and it was for qualifying positions to the Bass Nation Series Kayak Championship or whatever. I can't remember the official name. I think there was something going BASSMaster Kayak Championships or something. But yeah, we didn't even know about that event. And then there was a post about it that was like, if you're not a resident of Texas, you can't fish it. Yeah. There's some junk going on, because I remember Christine and Cody Milton and a couple other people were going to come down and try to fish it, but then there was some pushback saying, well, it's only for the residents of Texas. And I can't remember who the guy that was running this was, but it was like, I don't even think like 25 people showed up or something. It was on a weird lake at a weird time of year. Yeah, one of them.
The way we do it, because I'm the director for ours. We keep it open to anybody. You can pay any Bass Nation fee at any state, and you can still fish ours, which is great, because, I mean, some people would rather put their hat in a more local setting than go fish a national and just hope you make the top whatever percent, 15 or whatever. First one we did on Gunnersville in the middle of the summer, last minute. This is in the height of COVID 2020, and we still had like 65 guys show up, and we had a great time. And the only reason we didn't have more is because there was a Hobie that weekend, but I was out of weekends and out of time. So, last year we tried to do a trail series. I say I'm the only one doing anything with it. That fell completely on its face between me not having help. I ended up having to cancel 2 events. Just, you can't make stuff work sometimes.
Right.
And then the 2 events we did, people didn't show up. There's the whole, everybody was all talk about it, and then nobody came. So trashed the trail series. Said I would take over the state championship, because all the club directors are getting sick of running the championship, because there's only one person doing all the work or something. That's on them. I don't know all those details. So I was like, well, hey, I'll take over the state championship, and you just send me your qualified guys, and they have to pay a Bass Nation fee, and then if they win state championship, and they do the classic. Well, that was great until I've been locked out of the roster system. So, like, my guys that went to the championship I think, in Tennessee's were registered. Steve Owens had to get them in. I finally got in touch with Bass. They opened my roster thing up. I had a lot of people to add, so I started doing it one day, like late at night, closed it out, went to bed, got up, was going to finish. It was gone. Again, like, completely gone. Like, the 2022 roster did not exist, and I could not create it. Nothing. So just trouble after trouble after trouble. Talked with a couple of guys. Apparently there's a bunch of states having, not same issues, but just issues. And I talked with Steve Owens, and who is not actually affiliated with him anymore. Most people think he still works with him. He's just a good guy.
Yeah.
What we're doing now is we're going to go back. The most successful thing we did was just a 1 open qualifier. Anybody who wants to show up, shows up, and this is what you pay in one event. That's how it goes. And we're going to go back to Gunnersville, and I think that'll work out. We'll have
what time of year is that going to be?
Probably do August again. August, September. August is really hot, but the fishing's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just
bite.
Miserable. Yeah.
Deep grass. Chatterbait.
If I can get this event to run somewhat smoothly and get a little bit of help, I'm going to fish it, because I want to go.
Yeah. If it's in August, I might just ride on over there if it falls on the right weekend.
Yeah, it'll either be August or September. I thought about doing September just to get a little bit of a break in the heat.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, the frog bite, September, October. Yeah, is money.
Yes.
I'd love for you to show up and just put a busting on some of those guys, because the same people are going to do really good, and they need to be knocked down a notch.
Oh, man. Yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool.
But yeah, overall, I think it was done better. We'll have a whole show on it. But
they definitely stepped up some of their media game as far as kayak articles and posts involving kayak fishermen and short video clips and stuff. I've seen a lot more activity on that note this year from Bass.
And I give some credit to Ike too. Ike's been helping with that. Like, I noticed he did that show there with the top 10 that was done. I think it was done through his, but it was a BASSMaster thing.
Yes.
Like you said, the articles, which I think that's really cool. I think that's one thing that they could say that nobody else does. I mean, I think I'd rather have my name in a Bassmaster. I have.
Right.
You know,
sure.
I got to write an article because we were the first state to do one of the qualifiers, and I got to write an article about it. That was really cool, you know, and I know it's awesome for these guys like Jody Queen seeing your picture in a magazine's arguably better than seeing your picture on Facebook. I mean, who cares?
Seeing, you know, even getting in local magazines is pretty rad, and you get exposure, especially when it's viewable online, and you know, you get some traffic, and you know, and then look at the expo this year too. Going back to the classic, think about how many kayak brands was there this year.
Yeah,
a lot.
And like some of them, like the Hobie booth was like really done up nice. You know, I saw it the first year and Hobie was there, but it was just like whatever. Old Town was there, but it was just like whatever. Like these companies spent the real money this year.
They spent some marketing budget big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see some of the boats they had?
Yeah.
I think it gave some people some sticker shock, maybe.
Gave me some sticker shock.
Oh,
Gee,
man.
Yeah. I'm not getting into that.
Yeah. That's another topic right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's something I was going to say too, is for these guys, like one reason I don't have a problem with the kayak guys event being first is think of these guys that had the top 10, they're getting the exposure. They got these media passes now, you know, they're having to stick around. That's where you're making your connections for these guys trying to take it serious. You're walking around fresh from this event in other than ICAST, the biggest expo you're going to be at.
That's big time.
Yeah. And I know for a fact that last year, for the guy that won at Possum Kingdom, can't think of his name.
Yeah, Mark Pendergraft.
Yep. We had dinner like 2 weeks later at Pickwick. No, it was like 4 days later at Pickwick.
Yep.
And because he left and went straight to ICAST and then straight to Pickwick. And he was telling me, he's like, oh man, he was like, that event, he's like, that was the greatest thing for connections and finding like people wanting to be a part of you. And so
really I can attest to that because we had hung out a little bit at ICAST and definitely shared some info and knowledge and met some people and stuff. Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's great guy. We went out after the captain's meeting to Pickwick with a few people, and he's hilarious. He was fun to hang out with.
For sure.
I really think that's one area that Bass will be able to separate itself from if it continues the kayak train, is how it can separate us with like media coverage from like magazine articles, the classic, making those connections. I mean, if you're a serious tournament angler and you're looking for sponsors, that's all pays huge dividends at the end of the day, right?
For sure.
Oh, I mean, and you know, it's one thing to say, well, this is how good I've done. But it's another thing to be like, well, here's the article. Like,
right.
Boom. Yep.
I'm on the cover. Like, you know, that's just another little tool in your arsenal. I don't, you know, I don't care about the whole Hobie versus Bass thing, you know, KBF and all that. But I've said it from the beginning. If anything has the inflow of money to make it go next level, it would be Bass because it's an established media market. Like, Like who knows? They could be listening to all the fuzz right now. Maybe they're like 5-year plans, like year 5, the classics on TV, or gets a videoed. It's a videoed event,
video production where we'll post later.
Or watch it live on their website. I mean, I watched almost almost all the classic on Sunday live. It was in the background while I was doing housework.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine was in the background at work actually. Hope nobody's watching it at work with. I was glancing at it here and there, just keeping up a little bit.
I actually, this is the first year I didn't follow it, and I don't really know why. I kind of didn't even think about it. Like after the kayak one was done, I was like, cool, it's over. And then I saw that, what is it, Jason Christie, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that he won, and I was like, well, crap. And he won in an aluminum boat. I love it.
It was cool. I mean, there was quite a battle there. I mean, it was ounces. I mean, it was cool. I mean, they were digging out at the end. Like it was like
didn't he win by like 5 ounces or something?
Couple of rookies too, man. Coming on hot.
Yeah, man. MLF's a great format. I really do enjoy watching MLF. The Bassmaster format's just proven it's not going to go anywhere.
No, I mean, it's hard to judge, right? I mean, there's been a couple of MLF ones that I've watched, which have just been lights out. Everyone.
I think we're losing Brad again.
Yep. Just got a little.
And I lost everyone again.
There you go.
Just talking to myself.
It's okay. You still there?
No, he's robot man again.
He's robot.
Yeah.
All right, we'll give Brad another second.
Good. Yeah.
But
yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the classic for the kayak and for the elite series. Pretty good stuff.
Well, let's get to mine and your fishing, man.
Okay.
You finally had a little bit of times. You got onto a little local, and tell us a little bit about like what club and where y'all was at and how that went.
All right. Yeah, it's a fishing club, just Kayak Fishing Texas. They're a Facebook group, you know. Actually, I have like 10,000 members. It's crazy. Pretty good group of people. They normally do a lot of saltwater, like inshore events, but they branched out and did some bass events last few years. And they got some good support from a lot of sponsors that throw the swag and, you know, good raffles, good time, good people, you know. A fun little event on Choke Canyon. That lake's been known to throw some bigs out lately. Over the last few years, it's been fishing better. It was down really low 5-6 years ago, and we had some good rains, and it came back around. And the water level has dropped some in the last year, but it's the fishing's still pretty dang good. Got some good grass coming back, a lot of cover, a lot of stick ups, and flooded timber and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's a fun lake to fish. It's very fast.
Did you?
And there was a lot of wind. 15
did
to 20
you get any
plus.
time to get ready for the tournament, or did you just kind of do it last minute?
I showed up blind and fished it. Yeah.
And how'd you do? Go ahead and tell us.
Oh no, I got 4th place, which it was tight though. I mean, the guy that won was on. He found some fish and produced the right way. He had like 87 inches. Yeah. And the guy in second had like 79 and something. And the third had 79. Had right at 79. I had like 77, 75.
Yeah, first
did
first
get a
place.
limit. It was Oh, you got to pull it up.
Yeah. First place was Joshua Cantu. Is that his name?
Yeah, Josh Cantu.
He had 87 1/4, and he put the gap on second place.
Yeah, he did.
Robert Adcock had 79 3/4, like you said, and second and third was really close. Eugene Mora was just a 1/4 of an inch behind him, and then you had 77 3/4. So you were right there, you know, one call.
Yeah, and what's crazy is the guy in 5th that tied me. You know, I beat him on a tiebreaker, Corey Ogle, and then Matt Murphy behind him. But we're all mainly inshore guys. And there's a couple sticks in the leaderboard. Look down the leaderboard, you see a couple names you recognize probably. There's some names on there from this area. But yeah, the wind was crazy. We've had some yo-yo in temperatures. Got there on the water that morning. The water temp was, 55, 56. I was hoping it was going to be a little warmer so they would push back up. Found a lot of buck bass. I caught a lot of fish, 12 inches. 12 inches. Yeah. A lot of 12
so with the weather the way it is, and I've never fished that part of Texas, but like basing it off of places like Lake Fork in previous years, the weather had worked where the spawn is a lot earlier than a lot of other places.
Yeah, there had been fish spawning. Yeah, there had been fish spawning, and then the cold weather pushed a lot back off.
You're still in that.
Yeah,
pre-spawn,
back and forth,
post-spawn, like hardcore.
Yeah, big time. And we got another event there on the 19th, and I wasn't sure if I'd get a chance to pre-fish for it, so that's why I took what we call a fatigue day. You're only supposed to work 14 days before you take a day off when you're working straight through these outages. I think I went 22.
Jesus.
Just so I could have that day off on that Saturday to fish the tournament, and then what happens on tournament day? The wind blows. So I found a protected corner. There's a ramp I like there on the southeast side of the lake. I went and fished some history, which sometimes doesn't pan out, but
sometimes it doesn't.
I made it work. But what was crazy was there was 3 other boat tournaments. There was a high school regional division event that had 100 boats. There was a SAPD's tournament with close to 200 boats, and there was a BASSMaster hourly weigh-in tournament that had close to 150, 200 boats.
Jesus.
So there was 400 boats buzzing around. I fished behind boats all day. Like they would just come in, and I just fished behind them.
That's something I can honestly say I don't mind doing.
Yeah,
is
I
fishing
don't mind
behind
it. I still
boats.
call it. It's all good.
Exactly. When we
Yeah.
did the Logan Martin Bassmaster event, the first one, there were boats everywhere, and I would just wait until a boat rolled out, and I'd roll right in there and could,
Yep.
grab
Go to
them.
town, fish
Yeah.
slower, fish more methodically, and
Try and pay attention to
yep.
what they were doing, do something different,
and do
if
something
I didn't
totally
see them
different.
on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I caught them on well, Jackhammer always always produces for me for some reason over there. I did lose a couple good fish that definitely cost me some heartache. I had a fish the pond dam area levee. It goes from like 2 foot to 6, and it goes to like 14. And there was some grass had grown up to about 7 foot in that deeper water. And I was working a +1 jerk bait over that. I had found some suspended fish there near a brush pile, and I jacked one, 16 incher off of there, and then I hooked another one and fought her up, and she was digging real hard, come up and jumped and threw the bait, and she was big. She was pretty big. She was 23 at least. Yeah, 7, 8 pounder. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then I lost another fish on the little MC swimmer, little micro swim bait, 2 3/4 inch on a little underspin, kind of like what I was throwing up at Dale Hollow a couple years back, and I had one throw next to us, a little lay down, and burning it real quick, just trying to cover water and upgrade some fish, and then it smacked it and just not slacking my line. I reeled up, and it was already on the other side of my kayak, and just had to set the hook the opposite way, so really didn't get a good hook set on her. But she came up and jumped through it. She was probably 19, 20 inch fish too. So that's the 2 fish I lost. The rest of them I caught all day. I said, why couldn't I lost some of them small ones, man? Then I caught freaking 15 of them, 12 inches.
We had a little local this weekend on Wheeler. First time I fished a local in a while, and the only reason I did it's because I love that lake. I cannot stand that lake this time of year, so I just kind of wanted to go. I mean, it's $40 tournament. I wanted to just go play around, and I found some new spots. I never fished the south side of the river, so I found a couple spots I wanted to try out. No secrets, just a couple of creeks, and was like, I'll go give it a shot. We don't allow motors. I don't have a pedal drive anymore, so I pulled out the old New Canoe Flint and was like, I'm gonna paddle this whole event. And I had like a 1.5 mile paddle just one way, and I hadn't done that in a while. So got out early and put the work in. And anybody that knows anything about Wheeler knows that historically it's a phenomenal fishery. Like grass flats at the Decatur Flats, real nice grass lake. I mean, it's just south of their next river down from Gunnersville. Used to be, which I say used to be, still is a smallmouth factory if you know where to catch them. But a lot of if you get off the main channel of the lake, you can't really find grass too much, not anything healthy. And I just went back in this creek, and this creek had just little bits of grass in it, and I grabbed a red-eye shad. I cannot remember the name of the color, but it was just a transparent lipless with like a little purple back on it. And anytime I could throw it by me, crystal clear water, anytime I could bomb a cast a long distance and feel a little bit of grass, I could rip it out of the grass and get bit. I did that most of the morning. Bunch of small fish, and I lost a few fish because I guess I don't really fish crankbaits much, so I was struggling to keep them pinned and net them. I had twice me like having the fish pinned and then going for the net, and I guess I'd just give them slack and they'd get off, and I just struggling with it. But that and a swim jig, I did all right on that. But that tournament was an absolute struggle bus for everybody. Like, I think after you got out of the top 10, that was the end of the limits.
That was for this one too. There's only 8 limits caught. I was just looking at that. 8 limits caught. Only 3 people with 4 fish. 1 person with 3 and 2. And then from 17th all the way to 21st, there was 1 fish, and then 15 people didn't catch a limit or didn't catch a fish at all. Sorry, a measurable fish. So it was tough. It was one of them tough days. The wind definitely played a factor, and then the boat traffic definitely did. You just had to hunker down and hold your territory.
That was something too, man. This has been the year for bad wind for me so far. So went to Florida for the KBF Kissimmee. We had 40-mile-an-hour gusts.
Yes.
That was a hell no.
I wanted to make that one, but that's right like a week after we kicked off our outings. And I was like, man, I really wanted to go. But, burning vacation that early in the year is always tough.
Yeah.
To save for stuff later in the year that I want to make, some saltwater championships and redfish stuff that I want to save for. And so, it's always a tough call, but yeah, y'all dealt with some major wind out here on that trip.
And that, Florida's different, just like anytime I travel anywhere in the country, first time there, it's different. Did catch fish though. Not tournament day one tournament day. I zeroed, but again, we were fighting. I'd caught fish in the canal the last day of pre-fishing and was like, okay, based off what the wind's supposed to do, if I stay in here, I don't have to fight it. I'll have some current, but it won't be that bad because I was running a motor. And sure enough, tournament day, the wind shifted just enough to blow straight down that canal.
Oh, yeah. And I had one of them. I had the second day of last year was the same way. What lake were you
terrible. I was in between Hatch and Kissimmee.
Oh, okay. I was on Cypress, but the southern canal had current coming out and the wind was blowing against it. So the waves we had like 3-4 foot rollers in the front of that canal going back to the launch at the end of the day. Me and Greg Nosar were over on that side in between this pad field ditch that had some fish in it too. And I had lost a really big one on the spinner bait, just spinner baits. They can use that leverage and throw them real easy, shake them. And there were some good fish around that area too. I remember that. I did like that whole area. I liked East Toho and I liked Cypress a lot.
We did Kissimmee, Hatch, Cypress. I think that was it. We didn't get much time on Cypress and it was at the end of the day. And again, it was the last afternoon before the tournament and the wind picked up. And we just didn't cross the whole lake. We checked out a little canal running through there, which I think is the same one you're talking about.
Yeah, you launch and go to the left, and the canal's on the kind of edge down there. Yeah, there's some fish in there too.
Yeah, we think that people have been whacking on them in there because we could not get a bite going in there.
Yeah.
And somebody told us to ramp that the kid that was leaving when we were coming in was like, "Oh man, I've been destroying them," So.
Sore lipped them all.
Oh yeah. So, but we did, man. It was the wind and current. Luckily, both were going in the same direction. So I didn't have the rollers in the canal, but like I was throwing a 1/2 ounce. I was catching them. The bite was so slow for what I was doing. I'd just throw a Texas rig out, let it hit the bottom on the fish. I could see, hunkered down. You could just put your rod down for like 2-3 minutes, and you just pick it up and just reel into them and they'd be there. And the wind and current was so bad I'd throw that 1/2 ounce as far as I could, and like you'd get set when you start trying to just reel your slack up, it'd go by you. Like it was just never making it to the bottom.
Oh wow.
And I tried, and I did. I mean, Brian can attest to it. I grinded, man. I tried all day.
Yeah.
But finally, like 1 o'clock, I was just done with it. I was having boat troubles. We had pulled off the canal because he tried to fish Main Lake. He was out there for about 2 hours.
I heard that story too. Yeah.
He came back in soaking wet and freaking numb. He had to go sit in his truck and warm up. But with that, it's been a year for winds. The same thing. Like I thought I could just sit and grind out at this tournament on Wheeler Saturday, and I knew the wind was supposed to pick up, so I started heading back because I put in kind of high to the north and paddled south. So before the wind got real bad, I started making my way back. And again, the wind switched directions from what it was supposed to be doing. It's supposed to be coming out of the south, which would have helped me.
Yes.
But it came straight out of the northeast or northwest. And
a lot of water coverage that could generate some wind waves, and it beat you up.
And it's just a big bay too, man.
Yeah.
And my second spot from there was going around a main point onto the main lake, and then drifting down into some like really good little swampy areas. And when I paddled up there and looked out, and you could just see whitecaps rolling down Wheeler, I was like, man, no. I'm out. I'm not going to do this.
I'm paddling too. I'm not doing any of that.
And I trust that boat. That Flint's a great boat.
Oh yeah.
But it has a limit, and that would have been that boat's limit. So I called a buddy, and he was having like a terrible day of fishing, and he's just in a little spot that all to himself. He was like, "You just want some company for the rest of the day because it's out of the wind." He was like, "Sure, come on." Went over there, ended up catching one right in front of him. Felt kind of bad, but
Oh no.
I mean, it wasn't nothing big or anything, but
Yeah.
we were just talking, cutting up, and I was like, "Hey, that was a bite," and he's like, "No, it wasn't," and I was like, "No, he's right there." I threw right back to him and caught him, and I ended up like 21st out of 57, which
A little
the
better
big
than
thing
middle
for,
of the pack. Yeah.
I usually can pull middle. I never do good, but I'm not the worst.
There you
But
go.
my whole goal for that one was just having a good day mentally, because
Yes.
I've been getting too frustrated with fishing, man.
Oh man, and you hear any of the top anglers around, you know, I'll harp on it. Mental game is like so important. So important.
Man. You've got to, like, the thing that Gerald Swindle always says, positive mental attitude.
Yep. PMA,
I can't stress how much
brain song. Yep.
Yeah, man. It
rock man too.
it does. You can psych yourself out of it before you even get into it, and there's just been a lot of that. And I told myself, I was like, I have no expectation for this event. I'm going out here to do what I used to do and explore and get into the skinny water like I like doing. I'm just going to have a great day. The fishing was, meh at best. The water was super cold. The wind was bad. Bluebird skies for most of the morning. Yep. I had a great time, man. I was listening to music and people were calling me, and I was just keeping conversations going. Just didn't really care what was going on. So I had a great time no matter what, which is all I really needed out of that. It's kind of got me hyped up for the rest of the year.
Oh, for sure. And that's how it started for me Saturday. I hadn't pre-fished. I hadn't been on. Actually, I hadn't fished for bass since December.
Jeez.
And then, but I met some high school kids at the store on the way in, talked to them, and they were, they're checking out the truck and the kayak and, all that. That's some good stuff when, kids are interested in the sport too. And they were fishing the high school tournament, and then ran into them at the ramp and talked to a few more people, just had a good conversation with quite a few of the boats. We were all sitting around waiting. They had to wait to launch too. I mean, even though they didn't have a shotgun start, they got a kind of road runner to different launches also, but they couldn't launch until 6:30. So I hung out and just launched, and then I was like, well, I'll see y'all out of the water, and that's what was cool was a couple of the kids were from the same town I'm from, fishing for the high school, one of the high schools here. So we were just talking and just kind of giving them a rundown what I had found the last time I was here. I just said it might not be the same, but there'll be some fish around this area. It's pretty good spot. There should be some fish pushing up, but seeing them on the water and talking, we update each other throughout the day. And then I had just caught some fish on the chatterbait down this windblown bank, and there was other boats coming through there. I said, y'all get in that rotation, them fish are in there. And then the one keeper they got was right after I told them to go in there and get them. So they got like a 2.5 pounder in there, at least got to weigh in the fish, So that's pretty awesome. Cool stuff like that, and see them getting off the water. Man, we got that one right there where you told us. All right, cool deal. So it was fun times, That's always a good way to, end the day, even if you didn't do as good as you thought you did, you still help somebody out, have some good, the camaraderie is a big part of it, just like the mental game as we're talking in preparation for tournaments, but hanging out with everybody and visiting and all that good stuff, you can't beat all that right there.
Well, I think two of the things that's kind of, because I wasn't like a funk for real. Two of the things I think that really got me kind of fired up was the I have no idea what just happened in the background.
Yeah, I just went all on its own. I did not touch that.
But we had a little like cyber looking background going on here.
Yeah,
that just
like
threw
Matrix,
both of us off.
Dimensions.
There we go. But I did some of the show season. I worked one expo. Well, two technically. I worked I can't even remember what they did. It's the Fishing and Boat Show in Lebanon, Tennessee, and then I worked the National Wild Turkey Federation show because we set up a kayak for that, and that was cool. Just like you said, man, getting to talk to people genuinely interested, getting to sharing your information and knowledge about boats or fishing, or finding out people are from your town, or I fish that creek all the time. That got me really, really. I don't know. It kind of got me out of that funk. It got me ready to get back into it. And then the weigh-in, I decided I wasn't supposed to go to the weigh-in for our little local club event because I had some plans with some other friends. And I was like, man, it's at my buddy owns a kayak shop. He just got a new store, a lot bigger. I hadn't been there, and I was like, man, I'll go. They had food trucks and stuff, and it was great seeing.
Which store is that?
It's called the Kayak Store in Hartselle.
The kayak store. Cool.
He Tony Dean, man. If anybody in Alabama, anywhere in the state needs kayak, give him a holler. If you want to drive to Nashville, though, come see me at Music City.
There you go.
But yeah, it was cool. I hadn't seen a lot of those guys in months. Some of them I hadn't seen in over a year. So it was a great time. I'm glad I went. It's got me fired up, man. It doesn't look like my schedule's going to work for any more of their events, but I'm looking forward to. I think we're going to go fish. Me and Brian are going to fish the lacrosse event with All American Kayak Series.
I was eyeballing those dates too. I mean, my schedule's stacked with some, Southeast Texas Trail here is always a good trail. Then they're going to the Sabine River, which I actually love. I don't care how hard and tough it is. I just love fishing that area. So it reminds me of a tidal fishery in Georgia that I used to fish tournaments on as a kid. So I was just trying to piece some stuff together. My schedule's pretty stacked. If I can make it work, I want to try to get out and looking at a couple of the KBF events. Maybe the one in Colorado, maybe the one in Utah, possibly.
I was gonna say, man, if end of I think it's the end of April, KBF Gunnersville.
I'm looking at that one too. If it falls right on my days.
Brian's supposed to come down here for that, so we could split a place if you didn't want to.
Let me know. I might actually do that instead, because I know I was kind of looking at the, our Dale Hollow event coming up, and then the Caddo events are coming up, and quite a few of the guys from Jackson, live there. Jamie Broad fishes it a lot. One of my team guys. So got a place to stay up there. Got some intel. So we'll see what happens.
That's what I kind of messed up and didn't realize that tournament was as close as it is, because I put it on my list last with an asterisk, and I didn't notice the asterisk.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the end of the year. And then I looked today and was like, oh shit, I need to be on the water now. Like, I need to be scoping this place out. Because, Brian's coming all the way from Illinois.
Right.
He needs some intel when he gets here. You know what I'm saying? And so, because that's how we're doing lacrosse. Him and his dad are going to be fishing one of the little MLF Opens.
Oh,
so
cool.
Him and his dad are going to be beating on lacrosse.
I need to look at that schedule closer, because I did eyeball that, and I really wanted to fish the Palestine event that they just had.
Yeah.
My buddy Desmond did real well fishing one of the areas I frequently fish on that lake.
Yeah, I think we're going to do that one with them in St. Clair. They're doing St. Clair too. I think we're going to do both of those events with them. I would love
to make it up to that. That's a real long haul. I'm actually planning to go up to Connecticut in July to fish the Three Bells Trifecta. I'm on their national fishing team. One of the only ones not out of the Northeast is on the team. So very fortunate to be part of their team. But yeah, they got a trifecta event. It's an inshore event, striper, fluke, and bluefish. It's going to be pretty neat. It draws a big crowd, big payout. Should be a pretty neat event. I think I'm going to drag the family up to that one. It's a long haul. Let's hope these fuel prices ease.
That's the big
trade, because that's
the
going to
big
be
kicker.
The deciding factor. That's in the end of July, so we got a little time. Let stuff simmer in the geopolitical side of things, and see what happens. But yeah, before I forget, I want to give a shout out to some of my team guys on the Bass Series Championship. Adam Petroni, he's one of my guys I actually helped get put on the team at 12th place there. Solid finish among a solid field.
Killer.
And then Russell Johnson, big dog Russell Johnson, 16th. We had two guys in the top 20.
Hell yeah, that's
Jackson,
awesome.
pretty dang good. Josh Stewart just had some big events on Murray, and then one of his local trails, he just did real good.
Yeah, I did. I saw that I think I got it on here. I saw
he won he did real well up there on Murray.
Or maybe I don't have that one. I don't think they had the way we do it, because there's so many tournaments, is we limit it to 25 entries or 25 anglers. So I don't think there was 25 on that one, but that's one thing that's tough about fishing any locals in Tennessee is every one of them clubs has got plenty of hammers. Same thing with Texas. You're in Texas, you know how it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They come out of the woodwork, man. Yeah, some solid guys over here, solid clubs. All the local clubs are super cool. You know, we've got so many opportunities here to drive. You know, I'm 5.5 hours from Fork. But you know, I don't
It's
have any
crazy to
problem
think
waking
about
up
that
at
you're still
2 in
in
the morning.
Texas and almost 6 hours from Fork. That's nuts.
Yeah, down in the south, in the armpit.
I love that
state.
Lake Fork, man.
Oh yeah.
There's a lake up there I want to try, and I'll ask you off camera.
Oh yeah.
Just so other people don't, just to know if you've been there. I'm sure you have.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so man, that's about all I got for real. I just want to come hang out, and I saw that you got back into it. I know Brad's been talking up. He's putting his tournament guide together. I hate he was having signal trouble and couldn't get into it with us. So I wanted to talk to him about what all he's got going and what his plans were for the tournament year. But what other events? You've said a couple of them. Are you going to stick to any like one club and like make an AOI run or anything this year?
Well, I'm only going to make 3 events for the Southeast Texas Kayak Bass League because Conroe, the Lake Conroe event, conflicts with one of my professional Red League events. And I really want to make a run for the PRL for the Kayak Redfish Championship. So I'm fishing every one of those. And those are single man events, live weigh in, you know. So I'm really stoked about that for this year. And then the something similar to the IFA, the Bayou Coast Kayak Club from Louisiana, starting the National Saltwater Kayak Series. We're going to have some events in Florida, Gulf Coast, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, and then over towards here. They're going to have 3 qualifying events that'll coincide with the championship that'll finish up with their fall and tide event, which last year was a Hobie Worlds qualifier. Pamela Worth won that one last year. It's pretty cool events down there in Louisiana. They run some good stuff, lots of pastelaria, gumbo. We make some good food. And there's some good guys. That's one of the oldest and biggest kayak fishing clubs in America, that Bayou Coast Kayak Fish Club.
That's cool.
They do some stuff there. And then hopefully Ride the Bull doesn't hopefully Ride the Bull doesn't get blown away. You know, me and Jeff Little were over there last year. We got into town the day before they made a mandatory evacuation at 10 a.m. the next morning. We fished that evening, and we got stuck in like some squalls that were just straight gnarly. He's got some video of me hauling butt across the pass with lightning all striking. And I'm like getting it with a torpedo. And there's a boat going at an angle, and it looks like I'm going as fast as the boat.
That's awesome.
Just the trick photography. But yeah, it was gnarly. Like 50-mile-an-hour winds came through and blew us all over. Yeah, it was gnarly. I hope that gets to run again this year. You know, prayers out to the people in Grand Isle that got just wrecked. Hopefully we can come back and bring some monetary value, you know, some stuff, monetary support to the community and stuff, and have that event again this year. And then, just pick and choose a few events here and there. Nationally, I hopefully going to make a few, you know. I kind of missed out on the Broken Bow event for the BOS. There's a couple others, Pickwick and some other ones I'm looking at. See how it falls.
The Pickwick one, you should throw your hat in that. We may just get I live like 30-40 minutes from it, but we found a cool little cheap house in Mississippi that was a little closer to the check-in because they do it in counts.
Yes.
Tennessee. And that was actually worked out a lot better. You were a lot more central to all your spots. So if we do that again, I'll hit you up. And we'll save a bed for you.
And also, before I forget, through my podcast, Chasing the Tide, we're going to do a May mixed bag event, a CPR event, 3 trout, 2 redfish aggregate limit. We'll have some other little side pots going, a big trout, and then like a blackjack trout, the first 3 21-inch trout, turn in, get some gear grab bags from a couple of sponsors, Grande and Texas Rattler, and then 3 Bells is coming on board. My rod sponsor Waterloo's coming on board to throw some gift cards and stuff out there, and then it's going to be, I think it's a $65 entry fee. It'll be on Fishing Chaos. I'm going to post up some links this week for the entry, and that'll start May 1st and run through the 31st. So I want to bring that up too.
No, yeah, man.
Stuff going on.
No problem with plugging it there for all of our listeners. If you have any experience with the salt stuff or looking to dabble, it sounds like that the kayak saltwater game is getting like bigger and bigger. And Dustin's got some kick-ass sponsors, so anything that they're putting together, you probably want to be a part of. So heck yeah, man. Well,
what else you got going on? You gonna do any more local clubs lately, or? Some other
I know I
stuff.
want to.
Sleeve.
Like our local club where I live, we hit Wheeler, Wilson, Pickwick, and Gunnersville. That's our lakes, and we do a river stop, which is the river stop is any flowing water that you can sit in the middle and cast bank to bank.
Yeah.
Which makes it fun, like real
cool.
creek event.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I may shift some weekends around when I have my daughter just so I can fish one or two of those. Or try to take her with me. I just know her attention span's not there for me grinding it out for 8-10 hours.
Yeah.
But still going to probably do the KBF on Gunnersville. Probably going to do the bass on Pickwick just because it's right down the road, either one of those.
Yeah.
Still hoping. I think we're going to ditch going to the Harris chain. I know that was supposed to be our next one in this month. I don't see either one of us making that one, me or Brian. But if I can only pick one of the two out of the All-American Kayak Series, I was talking about La Crosse or St. Clair, we're going to go to La Crosse. Just because I love it up there. It's a cool place. So, I mean, that might take like a third of my salary, gas money, but...
Yeah, I have to take a home equity loan out.
Yeah, for real. I might have to sell a kayak to fund the gas trip, man.
For sure. I'll have some for sale here coming up too.
I've been waiting to see it, man. I know you're waiting on a few things we won't get into, but I've been waiting to see your boats hop up for you to get your new model. How many are you gonna get this year?
I'll just have 2 again.
2?
Yeah, I'm sitting on 4 right now. I gotta get rid of.
Everybody, go grab and follow Dudu on all his social media stuff because there can be some boats for sale. So if you're looking to get into a
pretty quick
used hopefully. Jackson, my man's gonna have a few of them.
Sure enough, right there. Yes, sir.
Well, all right, dude. Well, I guess that's it for us. I'm gonna run through real quick the rest of these tournaments, but before I do that, Dudu, I'll let you shout out everybody who makes fishing easy for you, dude.
Oh, right on, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for letting me jump on the show tonight, man. Appreciate getting to get on here and talk a little bit about kicking off my year, finally getting to fish a tournament and starting to get this ball rolling again. Once I get some dang regular days off, I'm just I'm just so tired of looking at graphics on the computer screen of process equipment. It just drives me crazy. Yeah. So enough of that. Yeah, but just thanks to everybody. Thanks to all my sponsors out there. Mainly first thing, thanks to the listeners. Thanks to everybody that listens to Paddle and Fin and Chasing the Tide, all the other shows. Our whole plethora of shows we got, as podcast hosts like to talk. So you ever see us out and about, come up, chat. We'd be more than happy to have a great conversation with you. If you're fishing tournaments, come and ask what I was throwing. I'll be more than happy to tell you what I was throwing, what I was doing, where I was fishing. It's all about sharing knowledge and getting people into the sport to enjoy it. Thanks to them, especially, the new anglers coming into the sport and the old guys been around a little while. Thanks to all my sponsors. I got some great ones out there. Jackson Kayak Fishing Team, Team Torpedo, Daiwa. Just recently got on with them in the last year. Waterloo Rods, a local company here in Victoria, helps me out. And I got a GMC dealership that hooks me up with some good wheels. And Beck and Maston. Kayak Cushion, just got with them. Y'all go check out their new stuff. They got a really cool bass print
I saw that
cushion cover, and then go check out the ones that I helped with the Mexican blanket and serape print.
Oh, you helped with that?
Yeah, that's one of my designs from my old jersey from last year. Yeah,
serape. Okay.
Yeah, yep. So a few more Catch. Catch helps me out. Best boards in the business, right there. If you're gonna measure fish, measure them on a Catch, man. And there might be a few I left out. Yeah, Gadget for sure. Show sponsor. And some of the best kayaks accessories I put on my boat. That horizontal rod holder is big time for me.
No, I think funny.
Shoot, yeah, man. Good stuff.
Well, heck yeah. For anybody that doesn't already, again, go check out Dudu's social media stuff. Follow his show, especially if you're thinking about getting into salt fishing or you've dabbled with it a little bit. He does a great podcast over there on Chasing the Tide. Definitely follow his social media stuff. This man gets some really good shots, man. I've had conversations with him multiple times about camera setups and how he does it because And he thinks outside of the box. Some of the stuff you've told me, like we went over not too long ago, it's like, wow, why didn't I think of that? That's not even anything crazy, but that's a great idea. Like,
Yep.
But
Angles.
yeah, angles. My man has found ways to create cameramen that aren't there. Like,
Yep.
a lot of these photos look like someone's taking photos, and it's all him by himself. Like, my man he's built different when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, so real quick, I'm gonna run over. We had a few events not too long. I'm gonna run through them again for anybody listening. We've always done it the same way. If you had 25 people or more, you make the list. So starting off, we talked about it briefly, the 2022 BASSMaster Kayak Series Championship on Richard B. Russell Lake. 91 anglers showed up for that. 5 fish limit. First place, Eric Siddiqui. Second place, John I can't pronounce his last name. Milshing. We'll go with that. Third place, Chris Walters. Shout out to Casey Reed again for a 24 3/4. That was a donkey.
Donkey.
I love it. Moving on from that was the second trail that we talked about, the one I fished in, or third trail technically, the 2022 NACA Open on Wheeler Lake here in Huntsville. 57 anglers. Shout out to my man Greg Massa. He's the Wheeler King. Came out of retirement, as we say, for a one and done. Show you it was still tough. He only caught 88 inches, which is, I mean, that's fantastic. But this guy's known for putting up the hundreds. Second place, Joe Drowns with 82 1/4. Third place, another one of my good buddies, Michael Cooper with 80. Northeast Tennessee kayak anglers on Douglas Lake, a joint event with Tri-Cities. 29 anglers. First place, Scott Ridley with 88. Second place, John Sanchez with 82. Third place, Tyler Cook with 80.5. The 2022 Natural State Kayak Angler NWA on Beaver Lake. I don't know why I couldn't read that. 67 anglers. First place, Ryan Paskowicz, I think that's how you say it, 87 3/4. Second place, James Hayberry with 84.5. Third place, Cole Sykes with 82.5. And then we got the event that you was in, kayak fishing in Texas at the Choke Canyon Reservoir. 36 anglers. First place, Joshua Cantu with 87 1/4. Second place, Robert Adcock, 79 3/4. Third place, Eugene Mora with 79.5. And Doodoo coming in fourth with 77 3/4. If you're just now listening to that part, he's still a stick. Moving on from that, River Runners Bass Club on Wicomico River in Maryland. 28 anglers. Now this is a grinder right here. 5 fish limit. First place, Jason Stevens, 51.5. Second place, Douglas Rash, 18.5.
Ooh.
Third place, Stephen Smith with 13.5. Only 7 fish were caught in this whole event.
Wow.
No one hit a limit.
Where's this again? Maryland?
Maryland.
Oh, cold.
I figure it's still cold.
Real cold.
They just want to get on the water.
Probably Demigi rig, like just barely even touching it.
Yeah. No one had a limit, and only first place caught more than 1 fish.
Wow. Whew.
Grinder. California Bass Nation Kayak Trail Series number 2, Lake Party, in Leon, California. 54 anglers. First place, Scott Savco with 91. Second place, Travis Lear with 86 1/4. Third place, Alden Walden with 83 3/4. It's one of the Dark Horse crew guys down there. I've been seeing a bunch more of their names. I've been paying attention to the Cali guys a little bit more.
Yes.
I've been seeing a lot of those guys that run around with Blanchard and their names popping up a lot more.
They're popping up a lot. Sure thing.
Good group of guys. Last but not least, the Urban Angler Club of Los Angeles was at Santa Fe Dam. 34 anglers. First place, Ron Kim with 66.5. Second place, Arnold Velasquez with 62.5. Third place, Jeff Boline with 44. And again, only 2 anglers caught a limit. Another grinder.
Yep.
But yeah, so we appreciate everybody coming with us for the show. A little different. Glad to be back, at least for this one episode. You may see me a little more. I'll be back for sure soon. But yeah, we'll see you next time, Doodoo. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. And I just remembered that I have to find the closer because it's been a minute since I've done this. Found it. So, peace out, everybody.
Peace, yo.
Thanks for tuning in to another killer episode here on Paddle and Fin. Be sure to drop a 5-star rating, a thumbs up, or smash that subscribe button on any platform you're listening in on. Be sure to check us out on Waypoint TV, waypointtv.com. Make sure you sign up for the Fantasy Kayak Fishing League at paddleandfin.com/fantasy. You could support this show through Patreon, patreon.com/paddleandfin. Don't forget to check out the website, paddleandfin.com. Catch us on YouTube. If you got a question, comment, or want to see a future guest on the show, be sure to email us at paddleandfin@gmail.com. Shout out to our show supporters, Yak Gadget. You can check out all the fine kayak accessories at yakgadget.com. Pelican Professional. For all your cases, coolers, and lighting needs, go to pelican.com. Rocktown Adventures, your Midwest premier paddle sports destination. Go to rocktownadventures.com. Eastport Marina, the beautiful destination on Dale Hollow Lake. If you're looking for lodging, kayaks, kayak accessories, or anything fishing related on the beautiful Dale Hollow Lake, go to eastport.info. And Jigmasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com and fill your tackle boxes today.